This is the Significant Man Recharge Show. I'm your host, Warren Peterson, and welcome to the 5-Minute Friday. Today I want to share some thoughts on what you see at many churches, at least here in the United States. If you look at the seats and the pews, you see lots of women and not that many men. And often the men you do see, they look like they were dragged in, forced to be there for one reason or another. That's not what the church is supposed to be. And this unfortunate truth makes perfect sense if you think about it beyond the surface level. When most men think about the church, what comes to mind are thoughts about rules, about judgment, about structure, limitations, being told what you can and cannot do. And men aren't looking for yet another set of rules or limitations controlling them. Men aren't looking to sit in a room and feel judged. The world already seems to be doing that well enough. So, of course, men are not really going to connect in the average church like that. And that makes total sense. Who really wants to go to a place where all you hear is what you're not supposed to do and to be judged? I'm a guy of deep faith, and even I would be uncomfortable in that setting, and I'd want to bolt for the door as soon as I could. Instead, I want you to consider this. Consider that the current reality of so many churches is not what the church was intended to be. Jesus did not come to give humankind a completely new set of rules and restrictions. Jesus did not come to look a man in the eye and condemn him. The Jesus of the Bible is not simply the mild-mannered and soft man that too many churches make him out to be. Rather, he's the man you want by your side through any battle. And to make matters worse, the modern church often seems to only teach lessons about being meek, being kind, being giving, gentle, passive, willing to lose for the greater good, and so on. And all of those are good and positive message. They're all important. But what's missing is the other side. And that other side is often what men need to hear taught. When was the last time you visited a church and you heard messages about power, about victory, about defeating your enemies, about sex and anger, carrying your sword, winning a battle, spiritual warfare, leadership, courage, strength, and on and on? All of those messages are just as much part of the teaching of the Bible, but they seem to be absent in too many churches' messages to men. And to pile on this a bit more, men also avoid a place where truth isn't really taught. Men can sniff out the fakeness of a sermon quickly. Even if they're not Bible scholars and they don't exactly know why it seems fake, they can tell. If the leader of the church is too good, if the pastor never shares any honest challenges or struggles, then what is there for a man to identify with? I know that too many pastors will talk about their own struggles and weaknesses the same way that people answer the interview question, "Tell me about your weakness." Do men really want to learn from a pastor who says his main weakness is that he works too hard, or that he cares too much, or that he doesn't have enough time to serve? No, pastors have the same struggles as the rest of us men. Pastors have challenges with porn, with debt, with lust, with anger, with aggression, confusion, pride, ego, and they have questions about their own faith. When was the last time you heard any pastor admit these or even touch on these subjects? It seems like the only time they're touched on is when the pastor tells everyone, these are the sins, they're wrong, make sure you avoid them. Well, gee, thanks, that was helpful. And why should I be here again? I don't need to be surrounded by judgment and someone too good to talk to me about real struggles. Think about the fakeness that you see in many church leaders, and then think about what Jesus said here. While Jesus was having dinner at Matthew's house, many tax collectors and sinners came and ate with him and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" On hearing this, Jesus said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." In a different translation, as a note, that last line is, "I have not come to call respectable people, but outcasts." If you feel closer to the outcast, then you're in good company. You're exactly the kind of man that Jesus was talking about. You're the kind of guy I am and talk to. We are the outcasts. Now, I know this message might seem negative for some, but that's not my intention here. My intention is to shine a light on a problem, on a challenge for the church. And more than that, for you specifically, it's to shine a light on why church might have never connected with you in the past. You may have only been exposed to one side of the church and only ever had an incomplete portrayal of Jesus taught to you, and you knew in your gut that the pastor was a bit too good and he didn't relate to you and your life. I ask that you open your mind to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, there's more, and that the church is more, and that you can grow and experience more in this life through your faith. The power of connecting with God is amazing. The power of the connection to Jesus that you can have simply by asking is incredible. So be open and willing to ask, and you may be surprised at where you go. And if you want to be around a small group of men who do talk about the real issues of life, then you need to head over to significantman.com and check out the Basecamp experience. It's a powerful event for married Christian fathers over 4 days and 3 nights here in the Colorado Mountains. Now, before you go, please subscribe to the show and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. 5 stars is, of course, the desired number of stars. Your ratings and reviews help others to find the show, so thank you for that. All right, enjoy the next show, guys.